Welcome. Well, I already started making a nice beef stew I want to make because I haven't made it for a long time. And I have some nice chunks of beef. So I've already rinsed it out in cold water and I'm going to saute it. And I already have my garlic chopped up. And I have a lot of onions here, but I'm only using half because I'm also going to make lasagna. Oh my God, busy. So you're gonna use, this is 2 onions. This one was a huge one. I'm gonna save that one for my lasagna. And I'm gonna use 2 like this. This is for my stew. Very easy to make. Like right now, I have frozen vegetables and I'm gonna use the frozen vegetables. So it's so easy. I thought, let me put it up. So you're gonna saute your meat nicely. Once it starts to, all the water to evaporate, we're going to add our onions and bless it with about 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm just gonna keep stirring here until everything evaporates. As you can see now, the water has evaporated, right? No water. And I always cook on medium. And we're gonna bless our delicious meat with about 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And we're gonna throw in our onions. See what I've done? The garlic for the lasagna and onions, and for my beef stew. Throw in your onions. Saute everything nicely. I've cut up some potatoes, cleaned them up, and washed them nicely. Once you see a little bit of color for the onions and the meat, we're gonna add our potatoes in. But you don't want the onions to cook too much, right? See, just a little bit of color because we're gonna saute the potatoes also. So I don't want the onions to burn. We're gonna add our potatoes and saute them really nicely. About 2 minutes. I have some parsley. And I have some basil here outside. So I chop up some basil and parsley, and I have my garlic on the side here. Up some onions. So these are our spices. The keg. Greek spices. If you don't have Greek, you can use Italian. Roasted garlic and pepper, oregano, and I have dried mint. If you have fresh, you could add. And then paprika, salt and pepper to your taste. Now, I have 2 spoons, a tablespoon and a teaspoon. We're using a tablespoon of the keg because it's beef and it gives it such a good flavor. So we're using more. And I have a teaspoon here, which I'm going to use all spices here that I have, the rest. But salt and pepper, again, to your taste. Everything looks good. We're going to throw in our garlic now. Until you start smelling it a little bit. We're gonna add in our spices as well. Water to boil. Saute everything nicely. You will start smelling all the yummy garlic, onions, spices, meat for about 2 minutes. Everything is combined together. Now we're gonna get our tomato sauce. So I'm using tomato and basil. I'm going to add a little bit more than half. You have your own sauce, homemade, whatever, you could add that also. Mix everything together now. My water is almost ready. I'm going to use the whole kettle. Pour it in. And get everything underneath. With your spoon you can see there's some spices and stuff stuck underneath. Until it's nice and smooth, your spoon, you can feel it. Just go around and get all that yummy stuff. There we go. My spoon is nice and clean. So I'm gonna need about another, I don't know, half of my kettle. I'm gonna fill it up. I'm gonna fill up the kettle, let it boil, and I'm gonna put a little bit more, maybe half more. It goes up to there because it's going to boil. So I don't want to keep on adding water. On medium low for about an hour and a half. Sometimes your meat will be more bigger chunks if you like, then you'll need to boil it more, but always on low heat. An hour and a half is pretty good for me. Always add hot water, boil your water. It'll take about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half on medium. So the rest of the water is boiled, so I'm gonna fill it up. There we go, see? There's my pot. Not all the way up. And some bay leaf. I'm gonna put about 3 to 4 bay leaves. They're broken. Look how small they are this time, my goodness. They're small, so I just put an extra one. Put your lid on. Cover it. We're gonna let it boil for about an hour. Get up once in a while and give it a stir. This is after a half an hour. I'm going to put in my parsley and my basil. Ooh, it's hot. I'm making lasagna here too, so I'm cooking away. I'm using frozen vegetables. If you have fresh, you can, but this recipe is so easy. You don't need fresh. I always have frozen on hand. 2 different kinds of beans and carrots. Delicious. Once the meat is nice and tender, we're gonna add our vegetables. Look at that, how nice. And it only cost me $2.47, $2.50 for the whole pack. See? Nice and fresh too. There we go. We're gonna put the whole thing in. Frozen vegetables have as much flavor and all the vitamins as fresh because they capture them right away as soon as they harvest and they freeze them. Well, sometimes, you know, I have, sometimes I don't have, sometimes you can get it. It depends what time of the year it is. And for about 20 minutes. It should start boiling again because the vegetables were frozen. I didn't take them to defrost. I just put them frozen. It's okay. I checked on my stew. The vegetables are ready. The meat is nice and tender. We're ready to serve now. My stew is ready. Look at that. Nice and hearty. Now, usually we eat it like this, but some of my grandchildren, they like rice and they put the stew on top of the rice. So, your choice. Whichever way you like it. Look at that. Delicious. Lots of meat, lots of vegetables, nice broth. Perfect. A little bit of hot pepper and some bread. I gotta take some feta cheese out. Eat it the way you like it. Enjoy. Always eat it in good health. Don't forget to subscribe, and God bless.